Hello friends, it is today, and today we're going to talk about Mustangs. And I guess it doesn't necessarily have to just be Mustangs, but in this case we are talking about my 2001 Mustang GT in particular. And you could probably do this to, whatever kind of car you want to do it to. But I got this a couple weeks ago, and it basically just needed a couple little fiddle around things, like a new AC compressor, and a door handle was bad on it, and small things like that. For the most part, it's in great shape. And like a lot of people, there were a few things I wanted to do right off the bat, just because I didn't like the way they looked. One of which being the grill delete kit, which isn't something we're talking about today. But I went ahead and did my own grill delete kit because I'm not one to pay $50 or $80 for something like that. So I spent $5 doing my grill delete. So if that's something you're interested in, we could talk about that later. Today what we're talking about is the front lip, which also is another thing that I don't plan on spending $50 or $80 or whatever it is to do. And what I'm going to show you today is pretty much unheard of and probably not recommended. And some people will probably love it, some people will probably hate it. But I will be putting a Honda part on my 2001 Mustang GT. Now when I say Honda part, you're probably like, what the? Let me explain. That is a Honda Accord front lip. I know what you're thinking. Now you don't have to use a Honda Accord front lip. You could probably use lots of things. And true, it is not going to be a perfect fit. You're going to have to help it fit properly, if you know what I mean. So basically, instead of the normal price that you would pay for a front lip, or instead of getting that crappy stick-on stuff that's just going to fall off anyway, you go out and pick you up some kind of front lip that looks like it'll be acceptable. Maybe I got mine, at a salvage yard. Good old pick and pull. I snatched it off there. I took it over to a Mustang. I said, yep, I can probably make that fit. Bought $3 worth of self-tappers and some washers. So we'll just form it on there to fit. I'm gonna wash it off first so my hands don't get all grimy, and we'll see what we can make happen. Alright, so I've literally spent just a minute cleaning it up just so my hands didn't get filthy while I'm messing around with it. But I'm gonna let it sit here in the sun for a minute, and then we'll just go ahead and start putting it on the car. Alright, so if this is something that interests you, you probably already know what we're looking at here, but here's what it looks like beforehand. And it is a little bit dark in here, I will admit. This is not the best lighting. But this is what it looks like beforehand, and then we'll get that thing in here as soon as it's dried up, and we'll start screwing it on. So in the meantime, while that thing is laying out in the sun to dry, I've gone ahead and jacked up the car a little bit in the air and properly secured it on jack stands. And please, for the love of science, do not get under a car with a freaking hydraulic jack like I've seen people do with no jack stands. Please don't freaking do that, man. So anyway, I've also gone and changed my clothes since I'm going to be crawling around on the ground here. And I'm going to go out and grab that thing and we'll start screwing it on here. Okay, so I will admit the initial plan was to look around and see if I could find a Mustang somewhere at a salvage yard nearby that already had a lip on it that I could get off of it for cheap, because basically all those guards, lips, whatever they end up calling it when you pay for it, they cost about 20 bucks regardless of what kind of car it came off of or whatever the case is. But as you probably know, it is hard to find a Mustang with a good front bumper on it, you know what I mean? But all kidding aside though, I couldn't find one, so the next best thing is you know, browse around, see if you can find one that you think might look decent. And in this case, I think this one's going to work, so that's what we're going to try. Like I said, pretty much whatever car you want to try it with. You know, it doesn't have to be a Mustang, and it doesn't have to be a Honda Lip by any means. We're just gonna see if it's gonna work out. So this was the next best thing, and basically what we're gonna do now, I let this thing dry, and this particular one I have here, the lighting is not too great here, but this particular one I have here has some notches in it. So I got 1, 2, 3, which is the middle notch, 4 and 5. So basically, you know, the middle one here, the third one, is going to be our center. We're just going to go up here and line that up with our horse basically, and we're going to designate it that as the middle, and then we're going to work from the inside out, because as you know, this does not belong on this car. So we'll just start in the middle, work our way out, and we will conform it around the corner here, because this isn't going to match up, but this is still flexible enough that we can make it work. And you know, I'm not going to lie, I have put garden edging on a car of mine before. I had a 86 Daytona Turbo Z that I put garden edging on, but the problem with that is you end up with ripples in it, and it still really looks like garden edging. So even if you get a lip off a different car, the fit and finish is still going to be much better than garden edging. It really still ends up looking like garden edging. So you could spend just a little bit more, but not the $60, and get you one of these on there. And you can tell it looks kind of faded and stuff. We're going to clean that up with some Armor All afterwards and get it all blackened up. It'll look fine. So let's see what happens. Okay, so right here I just have these self-tapping screws and little washers, and you know, you could use nuts and bolts, you know, if you pre-drill, whatever you decide to do, it's going to be better than just some stick-on stuff. So, you know, I got 9. I probably should have got more, but hopefully this will work out all right. Alright, so you're probably going to have to pardon my lighting here, but as you can see, I've got the first screw installed, which is the center one, which, like I said, on the particular lip that I had was off of that center notch. And then also, let me crawl under here real quick and I'll show you, in case you're working with a Mustang. You can see this this little tab right here is also right in the center of the car. So you can use that as a reference point. I made a mark off the horse, and then I also went off this tab when I got under here. So that's the first screw. We're just going to work our way around and get it secured, and I'll show you as we go. So here we are now with 3 of the screws in, basically 1 in the center, 1 right about here, and then another one right about here. And then basically when we get out here and we reconform this to the corner, we're going to have 1 before, or 1 right at the turn, and then 2 on the sides, on both sides. So basically 6 more screws altogether, and we should be able to make this conform. And it should, it's basically going to be like the normal lip. It's not going to quite go the full length of the fender unless what, you get that LMR one or whatever it is that goes all the way back. But I think for 20 bucks this is going to look way better than spending 10 bucks on some of that garden edging. So get a couple more screws in here and we'll have another look. So now we've made it all the way around this side here, And just like the factory one, you can see it doesn't quite reach all the way to the arch and the fender well, but I'm not too concerned with that for the price that we're paying for this job here. So basically now we just need to go over to the other side there and finish that up, and I think this is going to turn out looking real sweet for 20 bucks. So let's finish it up. Okay, so just in a short period of time, you can see we have lip installed all the way around. And I will say, in retrospect, instead of 9 screws or so, you probably want 13 or 15. It's really going to depend on what kind of conformity you have to go through around the corners. But more is always better when it comes to fasteners and holding something on there that you don't want to fly off. So all that's left to do is take it down off the jack stands here. I'm going to roll it outside and we'll put some armor on that, and we'll see what it looks like on the ground. It's going to be awesome. Alright, so I just finished up putting the lip on there. Got the car back down on the ground. Went ahead and hit it up with some armor all. And I'm going to go ahead and pull it outside, and that way you can get a little better look and see what we got working here. But just so you know, go and browse around the salvage yard, see what you can find, something that'll fit. The other great thing about doing this is, although you can pay a little bit of a different price depending on who you buy it from, when you buy one of these chin spoilers, they're all the same. They're all the same spoiler. So you can find one that's a little different. It'll set things apart a little different than everyone else's. So let's get it on outside and we'll see what we ended up with. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope it helped you out.